In this video, I want to show you how you can create this really simple scene in Blender using polar arrays or also the rotation around an axis, which is also called Revolve or Lathe in other software, and is basically also a revolution, which means rotation of an object around an axis. So let's get started here. I'm just gonna create a new file so we can go over the different steps together. And first of all, we can use these as a base object. We can use the simple box in Blender, and we can start to go in edit mode and start to create a different object here, but just by changing the position of the faces. So I want to create like legs for a table in this case. So let's say that this is my leg, and you can also move everything. So if you select all, let's deactivate the proportional editing at the moment. I want to move this aside. So when I'm going to use the polar array, when I'm going to create duplicates, they're going to go all around here, the center, which is identified usually by the origin of the world or the 3D cursor or the origin of the axis. So I'm going to go in the edit mode right here. I'm going to go all the way down and use the spin. Now you can use this, you can create polar arrays using spin or using spin duplicates. It's really similar. So if I do spin and click and drag, it's going to create, you can see copies of these. So if you go here and you want to actually use these as copies, you can use duplicates. So this is actually going to create duplicates. Now if you do the same thing, let me just go back, Control Z, and create spin duplicates. Again, it's going to do just the same thing. So if you do use duplicates, it's going to work just as fine. So they're pretty similar. Now I'm going to show you also quickly how you can use the spin to create a revolve or a lathe, but it's also explained in another video. So if you look for that in the channel, you will find it. Now, once I created the array, I can also increase here and let's set up precisely 360 degrees. And actually you want to make this a little lower, so you can see that the last one is going to have like a space from the other. And then you can choose how many copies you want to place in there. Okay, once you decided how many copies you want, you can play around with the center. So if you move the center, you can see that's the yellow dot there. That's the center. So you can also click and drag that around. You can use these to rotate on the X or on the epsilon. So you can create this really cool effect. So let's say that I want to create like a table which has the tabletop position onto these. Let's say that these are like wooden elements or things like that. So remember, before you actually apply that, you are sure with your original object that you are using for the array. So make sure that's fine and then create all the other copies. So let's say that this is good. Let's say that this is fine. Then I want to go back to object mode and try to adjust this using the 2D views to make these like, you know, straight and position then the tabletop onto this. Okay, so let's create now the tabletop. And to do this, we can use again the spin or lathe. So I want to add a plane, and then I want to make this plane frontally with the view like that. And then I want to create a profile. So I'm going to move back to edit mode, select the vertices, and start to move around the vertices. I also want to activate the snap to increment and to the grid. So I can take these points and place it correctly where I want. So this is going to be the first one. Let's say it's going to be right here, and these other two needs to be in the exact middle, so where the blue axis is, like that. And this one here will be like this. So this is the object we're going to revolve. Maybe I want to push it just a little bit further, like that. So when you're ready, select the face, go here, and instead of creating duplicates, we're going to just create a spin modifier, which is going to create a revolution around an axis or a an object basically, which is going to be extruded with the profile around that axis. Let's increase the number of subdivisions, and we don't want duplicates, otherwise it's going to create like these different elements, which could be fine if you want to create like again duplicates and not an entire object. Make sure auto mesh is on, and let's type here 360 to close the shape. So this is one way you can do Revolve or Lathe modifier in Blender. And that's going to be our tabletop. Now, if you want to add glass here, we can go here in the materials, create a new material, and you want to turn on some add-ons for the materials. So you can type here library. So you can activate the material library. And you can also use Blender Kit, which is an external add-on which has a lot of materials and objects. So in this case, I've used Blender Kit. So it's also explained in other video guides if you look for them in the channel. And by the way, if you're having problems with this video, you want to know the basics of Blender, you can check the Blender video course. So once I activated the material extra, you can go here and use the sample materials. And in the sample materials, you will find like glass or wood or basic things. So this is the basic glass. So I'm going to select it and do apply to selected. And to see it, I need to switch to this mode. So okay, I have the table, and for the parts on the bottom, I'm gonna use Blender Kit, which is up here. So I'm gonna go to the materials, click on this little eye to open up the materials. I'm gonna look for some metal for those, and well, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just apply this, and if I go here, you can find objects. So let's find an armchair. I'm gonna look for the armchair, and you can see there are many. I've chosen this one here for this example, but you can try with others. So all you need to do is click and drag, and that's gonna go there. So you just need to wait. It's a little bit small. Well, I guess it's not small. It's my object to be big, so I'm just gonna scale it. So I'm gonna select everything, make sure everything is selected. You can also see it from here. Right click and do select objects and scale it all the way. Well, be careful in 3D. You need to scale it in 3D like this, like that. Okay, and then you want to make sure that everything is joined together if you want to use the spin duplicates. So right click and join together, or Ctrl J. So now we have one single object. Oh, the aim is to have one single object and not many objects into one single mesh. Okay, now that we have it, let's see how it looks from the top. Okay, let's make it align here to epsilon and deactivate the snap to the grid now. And let's also create a plane real quick. So we're gonna have some shadows when I'm gonna turn on the rendering. Okay, now to duplicate this around this table, so to create duplicates and create the polar array. Well, first of all, my suggestion is to start with a simple object like a cube. So let's start with a cube. Let's go to edit mode, and let's use the spin duplicates, click and drag. So you can see there are so many. Be careful, because this will freeze Blender, will make it like crash perhaps. So make this really small right now. Let's say 2 or 3. Okay, then when you're ready, that you can go to your object and do the same thing. So go to edit mode, select all the faces. This contains a lot of polygons, so that's why you want to make sure you have a really low value here in the spin duplicates, otherwise it's going to freeze everything. And then you just need to wait, because depending on the heaviness of the object, could take like minutes or more. There you go. So 3 are not so many, but think about if you have like 300 or 100, that's gonna take a lot of time. Now it's pretty slow, but there you go, I can see it. And I want definitely the duplicates. I don't want to like extrude these around the axis. I want duplicates, and 3 will be fine by now, but then we can also increase a little bit the steps to create more copies. Okay, now we have 3, and let's make this like 300 to position those around the table. So you have 3 copies, and they're gonna be evenly spaced in 300 degrees around the, the table. And that's it. So I can now get rid of everything I don't really need, which are these cubes right here. And I'm just gonna render my scene with my objects around the my table. So I'm gonna go just here and turn this render into cycles, and that's it. So this will be all for this video guide. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel. Stay updated to check other video guides, video courses, and also if you want to thank us, if you want to support us, you can join the channel as a supporter. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video guide.